Hi there, welcome to Neppy Invest. Yesterday, on the 29th of June, I asked your help. I wanted you to tell me your three favourite long-term companies on the ASX that you think will outperform the market during the next 3 to 5 years. And then as I collate all your responses, I'll develop a list of the top 25 companies and then create this hypothetical group portfolio so we can track your favorite companies on the ASX in the belief that that group portfolio will well outperform the market during the next 3 to 5 years. The response has been a little bit more than I expected, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. When I first thought of this concept, I didn't think I was giving you enough time, and I was a little bit fearful that I wouldn't have enough responses, and then I have to go through all your second and third picks to choose 25 good companies on the ASX. Because that response has been a little bit more overwhelming than I expected, not overwhelming, that's probably a bad word, more than I expected. The good thing is that any company that has only been chosen once won't be selected. So any company within this hypothetical group portfolio has needed to be chosen at least twice. A few companies have been chosen by more than 5 viewers, and that's actually a good thing. That shows you these companies are highly thought of among the investing community. I just wanted to do a little bit of an update in regards to how I'm also going to choose these companies. So it's a little bit of a different criteria. So I'm going to go through that in this video. But before I do that, just a little bit of a warning about a scammer that has been posting on this particular, not this particular video, but the video I sent out yesterday. And I'll just talk about that right now. Just after around about 1 p.m. today, I just went online just to see if there was any more selections, any more lists that were put onto the comment section. Instead, I saw this massive amount of comments that looked like they were from me. But on closer inspection, this was, we'll say, a scammer, a fraud account. In fact, it was Neppy, an I with a arrow above it. I'm not sure what language that is from. Invest. So I am Neppy Invests, and they've got the same logo as me, and they were asking all the commenters if they can DM me, which wasn't me, and all these weird things. So I have reported this to YouTube. I have banned this particular poster, fraud poster, from commenting. If you do see it, can you please just send me an email or something to warn me that this is happening. I've never seen this before. I've never even heard about this. It makes sort of sense that those fraudsters will do this sort of thing. And so when I first saw this, I thought this was weird. I'm not sending any messages, and I thought someone had hacked into my account. But as I looked at it, this sort of action does make sense from people who want to defraud other people. So just be aware that if you get a weird comment from me, or you think it's from me, perhaps it's actually not from me, it's from a fake account. This is almost an identical slide that I included in that initial video on the 29th of June. I have tweaked a few things. In fact, point number 1 here, I totally forgot about to mention this in that first video. That is, picks must be in by 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, the 1st of July. That's a very important point, because the whole point of this experiment is to track a portfolio, and I'll be tracking 3 portfolios, and I'll be tracking this portfolio and the other 2 from the start of the financial year, which happens to be on 1st of July, and so trading begins at 10 a.m. Technically, hopefully no one does this, technically you could have a look at all the announcements that are released in that 2-hour period before trading begins, find a really good announcement from a company and include that company on your list. That might not work, however, because every single company in this hypothetical group portfolio has been chosen at least twice by viewers. So more than likely, if you do find a positive announcement from a company, that company won't be included, because you need at least 2 people to have already chosen that company. Provide me with 3 of your favorite long-term ASX stocks. So that hasn't changed. In the comment section of the previous video, or even this video, I'll accept any of your list in this video. Number them 1, 2, 3. You don't really have to number them because I know just the way you list the 3 companies that the first company you list will be number 1, second company number 2, etc. I will then choose 25 ASX stocks to put into this hypothetical group portfolio. I have changed how I'm going to choose those 25 stocks, and I'll talk about that in the next slide. Once chosen, I will not sell any of those 25 companies. This is the true definition of a buy and hold portfolio, holding it for as long as possible. Technically, I want to hold this for at least 3 to 5 years, so at least 1 year. I have no idea what's going to be happening in 5 years' time. Possibility I'll be dead in 5 years, or possibly I'll have a new job and they won't allow me to do these sort of videos. Now, how am I going to choose the 25 ASX stocks and how have I changed that decision process? We'll talk about that right now. How I'm going to choose the 25 stocks and how has that changed from the original way I was going to do this. I won't talk about that. There were 2 main reasons why I'm changing it. I think the original way was a little bit unfair because originally I was going to give preference to those who posted first their list over those who posted later. And the second reason is I received way more responses than I was anticipating. That's a good thing because that means I can choose these 25 stocks based off this scoring system, which I would actually prefer over the original way I was going to choose these 25 stocks. So this should make sense, hopefully. So I'm going to score all your picks. Your first pick will get 3 points, second pick gets 2 points, third pick gets 1 point. Tally the points of each stock, and then of each list I get, at this point in time it's about 70, rank those stocks by points. I will talk about number 4 in a second or so. And I've just got a snippet here of the top 6 ranking stocks as I'm speaking. So I am doing this every single time I get a new list. And at this point in time, BrainChip and Megaport have a score of 15, coming first and second. Lake Resources is coming third with 12 points. CSL, Kogan, and Xero all have 10 points. Now, how I'm going to rank the companies with exactly the same points is where I'm like 50-50 right now. For these 6 companies, it won't matter because more than likely these 6 companies will make it onto the hypothetical group portfolio. But once we go down the list towards companies with a score of 5 or 4 points, ranking those companies is going to be very important. So there's 2 ways I could do this. I could do it based off companies with the most first picks or the most total picks. For example, if I wanted to rank BrainChip and Megaport here, both with 15 points, I could do it by the first pick. BrainChip has 3 first picks and Megaport has 2. If I do it by first pick, that means BrainChip will come number 1, Megaport comes number 2. Or I could do it total picks. At this point in time, 7 people have chosen Megaport as one of those 3 companies, and only 6 have chosen BrainChip. And if I do it by total picks, that means Megaport will be number 1 and BrainChip number 2. Again, it won't matter for these top 6 companies because more than likely they will make it. But it will matter when we go down the list. So I just got to decide which is the best way, and maybe you can help. Tell me what your preference is. Should it be done based off which company has the most first picks or which company has the most total picks? This whole experiment is going to be tracking 3 portfolios, this hypothetical group portfolio, and 2 of my portfolios, my short-term sentiment and my long-term buy and hold. Now, I have, at the end of closing on the 30th of June, set up my momentum sentiment and long-term portfolio to be right on $100,000. In fact, they're within 15 cents of each other. Momentum sentiment is at $100,000.30. And my long-term buy and hold is $100,000.45. This is my short-term sentiment portfolio. The holdings in that, a lot of this hasn't changed from my last video I did, except I've included TNT and TPG. I think also maybe Appen and Kogan since I did the last video, maybe even Sequoia. I can't remember, this last video was about 3 weeks ago. So everything's going along quite smoothly. I won't show you my long-term buy and hold because I don't want any of my holdings in that to influence any of your decisions. There is a bit of crossover. For example, BrainChip will be in the hypothetical group portfolio. It's also in my long-term buy and hold. In actual fact, there's quite a bit of crossover at this point in time. I'd rather there not be as much crossover. Everything's going quite smoothly. The only thing I really have to set up now is this hypothetical group portfolio, and hopefully I'll be able to do a video on that in about 4 or 5 days' time. I am working Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday night, Monday night shifts. So small videos then that I've already set up. And then once I come back from my run of shifts, I'll do a video on the hypothetical group portfolio, and I'll talk about all the companies that are included in that. So don't fret. I'll definitely talk about the companies that are in this hypothetical group portfolio, and then we can start tracking it together if you want. That's it for this video. If you have yet to leave me your 3 favorite companies on the ASX, long-term companies, you can leave your list in the comment section of this video and I will accept them. Or if you do have a suggestion on how I should deal with those companies that have the same amount of points, how I'm going to rank them, should be based off the total picks or the amount of first picks those companies have received. The last thing I always should mention is I'm not a financial advisor, so if you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's all for this video. Have a good day. Bye.